I move every 13 weeks. New cities, new jobs, new home, new people. And somehow this has made my life feel more stable and not less stable. Constantly needing to be ready to change and having to remain so flexible has really impacted my life and taught me so much. So, here are 5 ways that moving around so often has changed my life. My name is Ken, and I'm a travel physical therapist. And a lot of the times when I'm telling people about what I do and about how I move every 3 months or 13 weeks, they typically give me very strange looks and they say things like, that must be so exhausting or that sounds impossible. And it's actually not. It's quite literally the opposite. Let me explain why. A constant fresh start forces. A constant fresh start. Fresh start forces. A constant fresh start forces you out of autopilot. Now, every 3 months, I literally become the new guy in town. And one of the main reasons I switched to the work that I'm doing now was because when I first started working at my first job, it felt like I wasn't really doing anything special after a while. I wasn't really growing, I wasn't putting myself in new and exciting situations. I was just doing the same things every day. My life was literally on autopilot, and I knew it, and I hated it. Before I made the change, it just felt like my life was so predictable. I go to the same building and do the same job. I go to the same restaurants. And on the weekends, whenever I felt like it, I would go to the exact same places and just do the exact same things. Now, every 13 weeks, I'm literally forced to reset what my life looks like. And I have to actively choose what I want my life to look like. And just knowing that and having to do that forced me out of the trap that was that monotony, that feeling of running in a hamster wheel and not going anywhere. Now, when you put yourself in so many new environments and new positions like I do, I feel like it's impossible to just fall into a routine or a set way to do things. Because again, I have to actively choose what I want my life to look like in these new places. I have to pick the grocery stores that I'm going to go to get all my shopping done. I have to pick out the gym that I'm going to go work out at during my free time. I have to pick out the wing spot that I'm going to go eat at after a long day of work when I truly don't feel like cooking. And because I put myself in these new situations so often, I feel myself growing and learning every single day. So let's talk about that next. You fast track your personal growth. I feel like you can't move around as often as I do and just remain the same person. Like I said in the first tip, I put myself in these new environments and situations so often that I'm kind of forced to get better at things like being adaptable and problem solving. And I think this translates really well into my job, into my career as a physical therapist. Because when I first got into the clinic, when I first started practicing, even as a new graduate right out of school, I always thought that I was a really good physical therapist, and I still feel that way. I was super confident. I felt like I could help anybody that walked into the door. And whenever someone said they were feeling better, I was super grateful and super glad that I could help them feel better. But in the back of my mind, I was always like, yeah, of course, it's me. But while I was thinking this way, I was kind of unknowingly boxing myself in because I would see kind of the same patient populations. I would see the same types of things in the clinic, which again, helped me get really good at treating certain things. But it wasn't allowing me to be as flexible as I really needed to be. So we fast forward into my first travel contract, my first job in a new city in a new clinic, and that first week was extremely humbling because it showed me that I really didn't know as much as I thought I did. But that wasn't a bad thing. Again, I got so used to seeing these certain patients, these certain populations that I wasn't familiar with other things that I just didn't see regularly. But again, that wasn't a bad thing because it allowed me the opportunity to grow, and that's exactly what I wanted. Now I meet and I treat a lot of different demographics, really depending on where I'm at the time. In one city, I might treat a higher population of people in the military. In another, I might treat a heavier industry or factory worker population. In another place, I might treat a lot of runners. And in another place, a little further out from the city in a more rural area, I might treat a lot of farmers and people that do heavier farm work like that. And again, just being exposed to so many different types of people and different types of patients, it's helped me grow, and I feel like a much better clinician than I was when I first started. It's uncomfortable, it really is, but as we all know, you only grow when you kind of put yourself in these uncomfortable situations. And speaking of uncomfortable, there's nothing more uncomfortable than traveling around with a bunch of stuff that you really don't need. And that's why your relationship with your things changes. Because I move around so often, efficiency really is key. My first couple of moves when I first started doing travel work was absolutely terrible because I felt the need to just overpack. I would try and bring as much stuff as I could with me, and my car was crowded, and it didn't work out. It was terrible, inefficient, and it just made getting to these places and moving out of these places so much harder than it really needed to be. The things that I pack and don't need literally become dead weight. They just get in the way. So now I constantly find myself asking two questions. Am I really going to need this thing over the next 3 months? Or if I buy this thing, do I really want to deal with it and take it around with me everywhere I go? I learned that packing my whole wardrobe, or most if not everything that I own, it's very unrealistic. So I've had to come up with systems to make my packing more efficient so my life isn't terrible when I'm moving into and moving out of these places. And it's also helped kind of curb the problem I have with buying things impulsively, because I can be a bit of an impulse shopper, especially when it comes to things like shoes. I really enjoy a good pair of shoes. And it's so funny because one thing my mom always tells me, she's told me this for years, you don't need all these shoes, you only have 2 feet. So I've had to kind of learn how to curb this desire to just buy everything that looks nice to me on my first glance. Because again, if I buy it and I don't need it, it literally just gets in the way and makes my life so much harder. Also, side note, I really want to make a video soon about how I've been reading up on minimalism and kind of rules of minimalism and how I'm incorporating that into moving and bouncing around as often as I do. So be on the lookout for that sometime soon. Loneliness and the importance of community. The truth is, the lifestyle of bouncing around and moving to cities where you don't really know people can be lonely. Community has always been a really big, really important thing to me, and bouncing around as often as I do and being away from home as often as I am only kind of made that more apparent. Now when I'm out and about in different cities, I make a really good effort to just stay in contact and text friends and family, because even that small effort helps me feel a lot better when I'm in a place by myself. But it's also forced me to stop just waiting around for community to find me and to be an active participant in going out and finding these people, finding these communities in these new places where I'm at. Because the thing is, I'm a social guy. I like being out and about. I like being around people. I feel like I have a lot more extroverted qualities, and I feel like I get energy when I'm around people. I like seeing the sights in whatever city or place I'm in at the time. I like going to events, local events in the city. I like going to cool looking restaurants. And sometimes when I do this, I even bump into and meet really cool people on accident, and there's a community right there. But again, being intentional like this just keeps me from remaining and being so isolated. But I actually have to have the discipline to go out and make these things happen, which leads me into my very last tip: having discipline while constantly moving. Now, in the first tip, I talked about how having a strict and exact set routine doing the work that I do is seemingly impossible to me. But there are certain habits that I try really hard to keep up no matter where I'm at, because at the end of the day, I have goals and things that I really want to achieve. And it's less of the environment kind of dictating what I do, and again, more so me just taking control of the things that I want to keep up with and the things that I want to make happen. For example, I carve out time to work out in whatever city I'm in because staying healthy, my health is super important to me. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been slacking off this last contract, these last couple of months. It's the holiday season, there's food everywhere. I'm not making excuses. I know I've been really bad, but I've been doing better. Because again, making time for myself and my health, it just helps me remain sane and consistent no matter where I'm at. And to go along with that, I'm also sure to make time for YouTube despite my constantly fluctuating work schedule. In some places, I have time to edit before or after work. And in some places, I literally only have time to do YouTube stuff over the weekend. But regardless, I'm sure to carve out that time because YouTube has become something that's really important to me. I'm enjoying the platform, I'm enjoying learning, I'm enjoying growing, and no matter where I'm at, I want to make sure that I'm at least consistent with learning, recording, editing, and posting videos on here. I've learned that I really need to have the discipline to continue doing the things that are important to me, regardless of where I'm at the time. So yeah, those are the 5 biggest things, the 5 main takeaways that I've learned from moving around as constantly as I do. Not the easiest pathway or the easiest thing to do, but definitely super rewarding. Like I said before, I really do want to make a video about how minimalism has really helped me learn how to get rid of things and pack my life more efficiently when I do move around. But I also want to make a video about how my packing systems have developed and what I actually do to make my life easy when I'm bouncing around to these different places. So again, be on the lookout for that. Other than that, if you watched this far, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you. And let me know down below in the comments, Do you think that you can move around every 3 months as often as I do? Does that sound fun, interesting, or does it just sound impossible and like a lot, like too much for you? I really want to know. Like I said, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.